Well, we have made it to Harry Potter Year 7, The Deathly Hallows, Part 1. What did you think of this one? Let us know in the comments. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
And this is our retro review for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. You know, this was the first of the young adult books turned movie to split the final book into two, and it's the only one where it actually made sense.
It fit. It worked very
Everything
well.
else was like, let's see what we could do to make money, and they ended up making their finales terrible, whereas Harry Potter had so much going. I mean, look how thick that dang book is. It had so much going on that it actually made sense to split that thing up into two to tell the full story.
I cannot think of any movies other than Hunger Games and Twilight that did it, though. But
Yeah.
both of those.
Well, that's just the pattern. Everybody was just blatantly ripping it off to make money, going, why does
I
this
felt
suck?
it
How
was
come nobody likes
needed
these?
for Harry Potter.
Yes, for Harry Potter, it actually worked. Overall, what did you think of Deathly Hallows Part 1 as we watched it, like, for the first time in a while yesterday?
I know. Well, it's been a while, and it's been a while since I've read the book. But the one thing I remember about the book is they were, like, wandering in the forest for a long time. And they cut that down big time.
But they did a good job cutting that down.
Yes, they did enough where you could tell they were wandering for a while, and that it was like one of the, but it was well done. It was well done, all of it. I mean, from Hermione's bag.
That was awesome. I did love her bag.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why everybody doesn't have one of those. Carry everything with you there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love that bag.
That'll be the books.
You know, the thing that I really liked about this one, like, overall, is they weren't at Hogwarts. So what was really kind of cool was it's still a limited view of what the wizarding world looks like in our world, but we got more of a view in modern day what it looks like to have these, like, wizards living in secret.
Yes.
And so, like, it was cool to see, like, after they had to apparate out of the wedding, and now they can because they're 17 and of age, and they're allowed to do magic outside the school, so...
They were always allowed to do magic outside of the school, it's just they would get in trouble.
Yes, that would mean they're not allowed. So now they are allowed because they won't get... Anyway, the point is now they apparate...
There were loopholes in that for wizarding families, but...
So they apparate out of there, and it was, like, cool to see them in London, and then they had a magical fight in a coffee shop, like... I don't know. It was just cool for me to have that complete change in environment and get kind of like a visual idea of what that looks like to have people like this living in London. Because it's easy to put them in the school and feel like it's medieval times other than the clothes they're wearing.
Medieval times?
Well, like, it just looks... I mean, they live in a castle, and so you think Merlin and things like that, and so...
I know, I didn't think of medieval times.
But it was really cool just to get that look of them in the other world. It's funny, though, we were watching it, and you pointed out something that I had forgot. Now, if you're just watching the movies cold, and you've never read the book, there's a scene at the beginning of movie 7 where Harry's looking at a broken shard of mirror, and the reflection turns from his eye to some old guy's eye.
Which looks like Dumbledore's eye. And he's like, this can't be right. He even says that in the book. It's like, that can't be right.
So, it's... What's funny about this is you could tell this was thrown in the movie because it had to be for plot. But it's book 5, and I'll let you, who's read the books more recently than me, dive into this.
It's very frustrating to me because J.K. Rowling, when they were filming a lot of the movies, like, she told them when they were filming movie 5, you can't not have Creature in this, because they were contemplating not having Creature. Why wouldn't she have talked about the mirrors? Because that was essential for him to be saved at the end of this movie.
It's a curious thing to keep in your sock.
Help us.
Basically what happens is Sirius at Christmas time gives Harry a mirror, and Harry never opened the package. He never looked at it because he didn't want to use something that Sirius gave him that could possibly get Sirius in trouble again. And Sirius, I'd have to look at the book, but he said something about a way for them to communicate, so Sirius wouldn't have to figure out how to use the flow network or any of that. And so basically they're two-way mirrors. You hold it up, you talk to it, and it'll take you to the other mirror. So,
pretty sweet.
If he would have known about that in book 5, if he would have opened up his gift before Sirius died, he could have talked to Sirius that way, would have never gone to the Department of Ministry, Mysteries, Ministry of Magic Department of Mysteries, and Sirius would be with us still today, possibly. He could have died in book 6 if they decided to do that, but story. So he gets so mad when he discovers what it is, he throws the mirror in his trunk and it breaks into shards. And so he just can't seem to part with the shards come movie 7. So now you know the reason he still has this shard with him is for some reason he couldn't part with the last gift that Sirius gave him. And so Dumbledore, being genius Dumbledore, grabbed the mirror that was on Sirius's side and said, this might come in handy, and he gave it to his brother. Well, we don't know it's his brother yet,
Not yet
in the movies,
but,
but he gave it to his brother Aberforth.
So I'm glad that you spelled out that history because, like I was saying, if you dive into this movie cold having not read the books...
You're like, what is this glass?
What is that? Mirror? And why does he have it? It literally...
What is the point of this broken shard of mirror?
It literally feels like this movie's like, oh no, we had that plot line in there. Then you go back to movie 5 and it ain't there.
Yeah, no, like, if you had not read the books, you're like, what is that?
And there's no acknowledgement. There's no trying to explain it. There's nothing. It's just there. And that to me was probably my biggest negative. I had forgotten all about it, but when he's looking at the mirror, I went, oh, I remember. Wait, where did he get that? And then, you know, she launched into that and reminded me of everything. And it's like...
I'm like, to me, that is not the movie maker's fault. That's J.K. Rowling's fault for not telling them to include that in the movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because Book 7 wasn't out yet.
It's probably both of their faults. But
5.
yeah, I don't know. The point is it was just weird how it was in the 7th movie without even so much as an explanation. I mean, they needed to, at the very least, explain this because... it is what saves their lives at the very end of part 1. And it's such an important thing that it's borderline hilarious that it's there without a single bit of explanation.
That was a frustration for me. A big frustration for me.
Don't. It comforts him.
It sets my teeth on edge.
And again, I liked how they edited the woods, because when I was reading the book to me was a mixture of book 5 and book 6.
He kept complaining when he was reading the book.
Well, because like book 6, I couldn't put it down beginning to end. And so book 7, I couldn't put it down, and then they got to the woods, and I felt like I went back to book 5.
And then he's like, another chapter in the woods.
It was so hard.
They did it perfect.
And
they
so
made
the
it
movie,
so much better.
Again, did a really great balance of what to keep that's in the woods that's important and what to cut that isn't important, so you get the same idea without it dragging on and on and on. Oh, it was so irritating. So, like, I was really happy with how the movie portrayed that and did the scenes in the woods, because it really did show their desperate situation. And I know it's a little bit different in the book, but I liked that Harry had not the slightest clue where to look for the next Horcrux.
That irritated me a little bit.
Well, I mean, I liked it because to me, it's like, isn't that how we feel in life sometimes? Like, things are just frustrating.
He didn't know where to look for the other ones. I just like that he knew about them.
Yeah.
And so that was like, him and Dumbledore had talked. They hadn't talked about where. They had just talked about, I bet it's something that's Ravenclaw's. I bet it's something that's Hufflepuff's. I bet it's, and so that, and he's like, and I bet it's the snake. So I like that they talked about that in the book, and I was very disappointed that that was not included, his talk with Dumbledore about that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And it could have probably benefited just at least talking about that stuff.
And it could have been a flashback in this movie.
Still, it was interesting and kind of Lord of the Ringsy, because as soon as they had the locket, the right locket this time, and whoever wore it...
like wearing the one ring?
Yes, it was, because... And actually, it's funny, because Hermione always was level-headed, even when wearing it, and it was Harry and Ron that always lost their stuff whenever they were wearing it.
It amplifies you.
Yeah.
Basically. And Hermione, even when she's mad, she has logic.
Yes.
And so that's why it affected her the least.
Actually, I'm highly logical, which allows me to look past extraneous detail and perceive clearly that which others overlook.
Yeah.
And Ron the most, because Ron was apparently a lot more emotional.
Yeah. I'm still here.
Ron has always been a lot more emotional. That's why she shot birds at him in number 6. Ron did kind of drive me nuts.
He was supposed to, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it drove me nuts, but I can understand in this one more than any other thing that I've ever watched. It's like, I get it, though. He is supposed to drive me nuts. He's being messed with by Voldemort's little Horcrux here, and it's totally bringing out the worst side of him, and it's bringing out all of his insecurities and jealousies.
Yes.
And so, like, I thought they did a good job with that, and they did a really good job illustrating it with Harry that first time where he wears it, and he just bites off Hermione's head. She's like, give me the Horcrux.
And then he takes it off, and all of a sudden he's like, oh my gosh, I'm way better.
Yes, and so that was really interesting. Now, it's funny, I forget how Snape found where they were in the woods, because I do know...
You know, I was thinking about that. I can't remember
So either. I can't wait to watch movie 8 again, because we haven't watched it as of this filming, and like get that refreshed back in my mind.
Yeah, I'm going to have to... I meant to open up the book and check that out, and I completely forgot.
But I forgot, like, what a cool scene that is. So, like, the Patronus doe appears in the woods, leading Harry out to the water, and now he's got to prove himself in bravery to get the sword of Gryffindor. And then, like the idiot that he is, because I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I like Harry, I do, but when you really, like, dissect his character... It's not just that he lacks logic. He is a true idiot. He is a slacker.
With a lot of courage.
Like he will,
bravery.
yeah, courage and bravery. But when it comes to like, oh, Voldemort can get in my head and understand everybody's secret plans, I guess I better learn how to keep him out. Nah, this is too hard. Yeah. Like that's Harry. Oh, maybe it'd benefit me to not broadcast my spells, but I don't want to learn how to do it without talking.
That's why in the beginning of the movie, when Harry's trying to go off on his own and Ron goes up and he's like, "All right, leave with me," and he's like, "You gotta be mad. We wouldn't last 2 days without Hermione." And I'm like, yup.
Yes.
I'm like, Hermione is like the backbone of the, oh man, I'm like, Ron said it perfectly. I'm like, we wouldn't last 2 days without her. And they're right. Because she's the one who was apparated. She's the one who had the bag with all the stuff. She's the one who was prepared. But
I think what I like best about the scene with the Horcrux, so after Harry's stupid and gets nearly drowned by all that, and Ron saves him, I think my favorite thing in that is when they open the locket. And, you know, the spirit of Voldemort that's in there kind of comes out, and it shows Ron everything that he's afraid of most, everything he's most insecure about and most jealous about. And, he's more afraid of Harry and Hermione ending up together than he is of spiders.
Well, I think it's more that made him angry, the thought of that, because he loves Hermione.
The symbolicness of that scene is all that angst and all that insecurity that has been in Ron for this entire movie that has annoyed us about him in the woods. He is now physically staring it down in the face, and he is so freaking sick of it that he takes the sword of Gryffindor and with a mighty wallop destroys that thing. And, like, I loved the symbolicness of that, of him facing the worst part of himself and conquering it with the sword of Gryffindor. And I was like, that was some totally awesome stuff. Yeah. So, I think the last awesome thing I want to talk about is... because Harry's a Horcrux, and we know that ahead of time, when he's, like, almost unconscious when they're all trying to escape with Harry at the beginning, when all the people drinking polyjuice, and one Harry's over here, one Harry's over there. But Voldemort finds the real Harry, and Harry's, like, laying there unconscious, but his hand kind of does this thing.
And it's like his wand responded to Voldemort.
But that scene, oh my gosh, I love that scene. And I can't remember if that's because of the piece of Voldemort living in him that was defending itself.
The Horcrux.
And that's kind of what I think it is.
Well, that's I don't know if it exactly tells you ever, but it's what it is.
The death of Hedwig.
No! No!
She took a killing curse.
Why would you kill an owl?
Because she was a character that you both loved, but was expendable.
Oh, and Dobby died. That happened.
Dobby is happy to be with his friend.
And if you ever watch this movie with somebody who has not read the books, I want to say my favorite scene is when Dobby comes to save everybody. Because we saw this, midnight opening. Probably my favorite midnight opening that I've seen.
And half the theater had not read the books, apparently.
More than half the theater. We're watching it. People are cheering when Dobby shows up. And then it is so heartbreaking that Dobby dies. But, like, the theater, like, like, freaking out. Sorry, that got me. Excuse me. But they were freaking out. And I was just, oh my gosh. I'm sitting there. I'm like, why are they so happy he's going to die?
None of them read the book.
And oh man, that just,
oh gosh.
I will never forget that moment in a Harry Potter. That's like the one scene inside of a theater that I will never forget.
Some of my favorite Bellatrix Lestrange scenes in this, though. I mean, when she's like writing mud blood on Hermione's arm.
She's perfect.
Oh gosh.
Crazy woman.
She is so freaking wicked. She is like, I mean, my gosh, if they killed Voldemort early, she would be the main villain that they'd have to face, and just might be more scary.
Might be more scary, but not as intelligent.
No,
him.
Yeah,
so
no. I'm just saying she
would be scary, but she would be taken down.
Yes, no, she's nobody to be trifled with. Man. Oh my gosh. Anyway, overall, I love movie 7. Movie 7 is just freaking fantastic.
I love all the movies.
I loved it being outside of Hogwarts, and I just giving us different environment, a different perspective.
Different feel.
Yes, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, like I keep on saying, we will rank all of these movies worst to best after Fantastic Beasts 2. And Grindelwald, he's in year 7! And I never thought of it in the name that I can't seem to pronounce, never meant anything to me until these movies have come out. And then this time I was watching it through and I was like, oh, there's the connection!
Oh, I was talking to you about it before, too. So I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, that's the guy who Dumbledore got the wand from. That was his buddy back in the day.
Yeah, so now I, like, it was just cool for me to finally put that together. I was like, oh, sweet. Now I'm a little bit more excited for the sequel. Yeah. Yay. Anyway, what did you think of Deathly Hallows Part 1?
You almost said the attack of Grindelwald. I heard it coming.
I don't know what I was going to say. Let us know what you thought in the comments, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my final Harry Potter review.
Then Fantastic Beasts.
And Fantastic Beasts. And Fantastic Beasts 2. And a ranking of all of this stuff. So hit that bell so you're notified when all of that drops. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thanks for checking out Durbania.